A few short months ago, during the middle of the season, if you would ask me who won the Lions-Rams trade involving, most famously, quarterbacks Jared Goff from the Rams to the Lions and Matthew Stafford from the Lions to the Rams, I would have said the Rams won in the short term, but the Lions won in the long term. However, as of today, I'm going to say the Rams are the all-around winners. Here's why.
Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steves! Come to my channel, you know the deal, yo boy, always keeps things real. I'm simply statue, think they slate, dropping unrealistic mad, 2K takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the millie, never hear me preach, Lombardi to Philly. Before you watch the Eagles all the way through the early 22, authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal, yo boy, always keeps things real. The 24/7, 365 way, sports content for the reals that fill the day.
Yes, I said it. The Los Angeles Rams are the long-term winners of the Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford trade between the two teams. First, we start with the obvious. First season after the trade, the Los Angeles Rams swapped, got Matthew Stafford. They went all in that season. They acquired OBJ, Von Miller middle of the season, and they went Super Bowl or bust. And it worked in their favor with them winning the Super Bowl at their home stadium, defeating the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56. And the Lions, who were in a deep rebuild with first-year head coach Dan Campbell, only won 3 games. But then year 2, they took a big step. Their offense improved greatly. Jared Goff played good statistically. They won 9 games, narrowly missed the playoffs. But they went from 3 wins to 9 wins. Tremendous improvement. That's what you want out of a rebuild. Well, the Rams only won 4 games and had one of the worst Super Bowl victory hangover in NFL history. And then year 3, both teams made the playoffs. Lions won the NFC North, got the number 3 seed. Was it? Yeah, the 3 seed. Then the Rams, they started off the season struggling early. They had injuries, but later they rallied, won enough games to make the playoffs, get the 6th seed. 2 teams come head-to-head in the playoffs. Detroit Lions win, move on to the second round. And that's what, right. And at the time, it's looking like, yep, the Lions ultimately won the trade. Even going into this season, the Lions dominated the regular season, got home field advantage, went 15-2, destroyed the Minnesota Vikings the final week of the regular season to clinch that home playoff game. The Rams, once again, kind of struggled early in the season like they did in 2023. Ultimately, had to rally to make the playoffs. They finished 10-7. Won the division, and then we get to the playoffs this year. Going into it, it was looking like ultimately the Lions were the long-term winners of the trade, because the Detroit Lions had 3 straight winning seasons following the first season, years 2, 3, and 4. 2 of those 3 years they won the division, hosted home playoff games. Year 2 of that, the Rams had a losing record, abysmal, complete 180 from the previous year. Year 2, what did they go? 10-7, 2023, just to make the playoffs as the 6th seed. Year 3, and then year 4, they did the same thing with the Rams, going 10-7. This time, good enough to win the division and having to rally late and win games. Which, don't get me wrong, it was impressive of the Rams front to be able to rally after struggling early, win games. It goes to show the resilience of that team. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying the Lions were more consistent throughout the regular seasons, years 2, 3, and 4. Years 3 and 4, when they won the division, the Rams had an uphill battle the entire season. They had to rally late with their backs against the wall. Well, the Lions held momentum most of the season, years 3 and 4, going into the playoffs. And then they beat them in the playoffs year 3 head-to-head. Beat them in week 1 of the regular season, 2024 season. So everything clearly is indicating that the Lions were the long-term winners. But that all changed in the playoffs. And that's where the Rams showed that they were the true long-term winners of this trade. Let's break it down. 2024 season, wild card round, Rams versus Vikings. It got moved to a neutral site down in Arizona with the Cardinals Stadium because of the LA wildfires. But long story short, the Rams decimated the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings were favorites, but the Rams decimated them. Right. Their defense was outstanding. 9 sacks on Sam Darnold. Offense was good enough to get the job done. Then, divisional round, folks. The Detroit Lions, with home field advantage, lose to the Washington Commanders. And Jared Goff throws 3 picks in that game. With home field advantage, the Lions, with Jared Goff, choke. Goff throws 3 picks. Some of those picks, if you change the outcome of those drives, that could have easily changed the outcome. Because the final was 45-31 Commanders. Take away some of those picks, it could have been a different ball game. The Lions could have won as expected. So you got to put that on Jared Goff. Now, on the other hand, with the Rams, with Matthew Stafford in the snow against the Eagles, yeah, my team beat them. We're moving on to the conference championship. But I got to give credit where credit's due. Matthew Stafford, in his losing effort in the divisional round against my team, put up a better performance. And he helped keep the Rams in that game. And our defense did a good job getting to Stafford, too. We got to him numerous times. Jalen Carter got to him late in the game, would set up the 4th down incompletion that helped save the game for us late, and we were up by 6. But overall, as a whole, Matthew Stafford played better in the snow, out of his comfort zone against my team than Jared Goff did at home in his team's comfort zone with home field advantage. And here's where it got me thinking. I'm looking at the Lions' perspective. I'm thinking, I was wondering, if you take that same core, obviously they'll never see this actually happen, but I'm just saying hypothetically, to illustrate a point about it. If you take the last 2 seasons, the Lions roster that got to the conference championship and lost to the 49ers, and then lost at home to the Commanders with Goff at helm. If you have him and Stafford switch, Stafford in that predicament with Dan Campbell, Laporta, Montgomery, all those guys, all those guys on defense, that same roster that Goff has, but with Stafford. There's a possibility this team either gets to or wins a Super Bowl, in my opinion, if same team has Matthew Stafford instead of Jared Goff. So I'm thinking about in the long term, I think the Rams really won this trade. Ultimately, because when Matthew Stafford had his best team around him, which was that 2021 Rams, he played good enough for them to win the Super Bowl. Now, is he the main contributor to them winning the Super Bowl? I don't know, not necessarily. He was the team as a whole. But Stafford, with the best team around him, was good enough to win a Super Bowl. I'm thinking there's a chance, if you take these Detroit Lions team the last 2 years and put Matthew Stafford in there, they could possibly have won a Super Bowl at that point. As I thought about this in the days since, and not to mention, now we take a look at 4 seasons in the books. The Rams have 3 playoff appearances, a Super Bowl win in their grasp. Detroit Lions have 3 winning seasons, 2 playoff appearances, but ultimately 2 flameouts in the playoffs with Jared Goff. So I'd say ultimately, when it comes down to it, the Rams are the winners of this trade. And Matthew Stafford, for the Rams getting Stafford was better for them in the long haul. Because I don't think they win that Super Bowl with that 2021 roster with Jared Goff. I really don't. To me, Goff's one of those quarterbacks that plays good when he has the right talent around him with no expectations. But when it matters most, he doesn't excel. Take a look at when the Rams did reach the Super Bowl with Goff in the 2018 season. They got to Super Bowl 53. They had a top offense in the NFL throughout the season. They got to the Super Bowl, only scored 3 points in the most important game of Goff's career. Look at big game against the Commanders. Home field advantage. Lions got a great team around him. The best team Goff's had. The best shot he has at winning a Super Bowl. He throws 3 picks in that game. Matthew Stafford, with his best team, year one with the Rams, wins a Super Bowl. Even the last 2 seasons, not the greatest team in the world, but you still got Nakua, Cup, top receiving core. You still got some good players in that Rams defense, especially this season. And the Rams made the playoffs back-to-back years, won at home against the Vikings, put up a fight, losing to my team, the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, that's more respectable, I feel, than what the Lions did. And plus, like I said, the Super Bowl win, I got to consider the Rams the long-term winners. And that's really all I got to say for you at this point. You guys comment, let me know what you think. I know there's talk about Stafford possibly retiring, but that's another subject for another time. I just want to come here and give my thoughts on the trade and give you guys my perspective why the Rams won. If you guys want to comment, let me know what you think. Anything you agree with, disagree with, any take of your own you want to add to it, you're more than welcome to. With that being said, have a great rest of your day or night, depending on when you're catching it. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the Nicky Stees channel if you're an NFL or NBA fan for more content. Until next time, peace.